great to see you in person.
Thank you.
I was so excited to interview you last time, but it was over Zoom and it made me sad.
I know.
Yes.
Because of the
I think
pandemic
COVID
or something.
and all that. Yeah,
yes.
it was a global pandemic. There was a good reason.
Yes, I heard about it. Yeah.
I heard that you're doing something. You're renovating right now. Y'all got a place in England? I love renovation.
Yes, I live in London, but we bought a country house that will finish. By the time I finish it, I'll be in a care home. So it will, but that's fine. Some of my family will live in it. That's great.
Yeah, legacy property.
Yeah, but it's a very old house. Part of it was built. The first part was built in the 1700s, right?
Yeah.
Because England, you know, it's been around a long time.
Yeah, might want to check for mold.
Yeah, right. Yes. Well, we definitely have that.
Yeah.
And we have bats. We have an issue with bats. Yes, but they're also I can't remember what they call them, but they're like maternal colonies of bats. So they're breeding ground for like 5 different kinds of bats, and they're very, very carefully protected. So it's going to, we can't actually...
Do you have a bat cave? Are you Batman?
No, I am Batman.
Yes.
Yeah, and now I realize how expensive it is to be Batman.
Yes.
Because anyway, you can only take the roof off at a certain time of year when they're doing whatever they're doing. They
and
go
hope
away
they
or
go?
something. No, well, no, then you have to build something for them like to live in, I think, like little bat houses.
Okay.
And then you also have to accommodate them should they choose to return. So, yes.
You have a bat hotel.
I have a bat hotel. Yeah, so then they go back and they procreate and poop everywhere. So,
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
That's not great, actually.
No, it's
That's
not.
never happened.
No.
I have one bat. I have a single little tiny bat that lives in my cabin, like little roof right outside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bruce Vane. That's his name. Yeah.
Bruce Vane?
Bruce Vane, yeah. I love him, but he's tiny, but I only have one. Yeah.
You only have one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's okay.
Well,
I will
nice.
accommodate one.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any, like, theater moments that were, like, embarrassing? Like, anything ever happened to you? Because there's so many shows.
Yeah, I'm having one right now. No, yes, I did a play on Broadway. The last play I did was a two-hander, and at the beginning of the play, the 2 people are naked, meaning me and the other person. And
you were like full-blown naked?
Yeah, naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I did that, and the actor's nightmare that I write about in this book.
Yeah.
Actor's nightmare. I write about dreams at the beginning, and the actor's nightmare is that you're on stage, and you're naked, and you can't remember your lines, and that actually happened to me. So I lived the actor's nightmare. So I have no fear anymore of anything.
Did you? Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Did you think of anything to say? Like, did you?
No,
or did someone save you? Like.
I was going to use the expression "went up," which is the expression when you can't remember your lines, but when you're naked, it sounds like something else. So.
Congratulations.
So I went up.
Yep.
I went up and down at the same time, and I never. Did you get it?
Yeah. The complete visual.
It wasn't big enough for me.
The complete visual. Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I, and then I looked, and my co-star looked at me, and we both went like that. And she was like, "Aren't you going to talk now?" You know?
Yeah.
And I went, and then suddenly it comes to you, and you.
Yeah. Isn't it funny?
you
Robotic.
Go.
Yeah. I know. That's a crazy feeling, though.
Yeah,
you feel out of control
feeling.
and
horrible. Feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the fear washes over. Your new movie, Conclave. What's it about?
It is about the choosing of a new pope.
Yeah.
And it's based on a novel by Robert Harris, who's a British novelist, who's one of my favorite novelists ever. And it's about the choosing of a new pope. And there's this ritual that they go through, that they've been going through for centuries, where all of the cardinals from around the world come to the Vatican. They sequester themselves in the Sistine Chapel, and then they vote.
Yeah.
And that for who will be the new pope, which one of them amongst them will be the pope. And that could take weeks.
I mean, it's kind of nuts. And they're like locked in a room, right?
Oh, yeah. And then they're not allowed to have contact with the outside world.
Yeah.
Nobody can contact them. They go from there, then they're driven like in vans to their, to their, accommodations. And then they have dinner and they have lunch, and then it starts all over again. Oh, man, that's intense. Yeah. So is the whole thing basically shot in the one? Well, no, it's shot sort of in what would be, Vatican City. Yeah. But we recreated the Sistine Chapel on the on Cinecittà, which is the huge Italian studio in Rome. Oh. So we shot the whole thing in Rome, and Cinecittà was built in the 1930s by the fascist regime. but it was one of the best-built studios at that time, and remained so up until like the 1970s. It was where Fellini worked, Rossellini worked, Pasolini, anybody with Eni worked there.
Anybody with Eni.
But it was at the time the biggest and most important stage in Europe.
How special is that?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was the second time I'd worked there, and it's quite moving to know that Fellini had worked there and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to a few commercials. We're going to keep our clothes on, and someone in the audience is going to help us out.
Hi, Kelly and Stanley. I'm Fede, and yes, I'm Italian. I come from a small town called Piglio, known for its olive oil and wine. Stanley, I've seen you on TV cooking with your family in Italy. And you know, one of my favorite memories is cooking with my nonna Nicolina and make her famous lasagna ragu. And then we would eat them in our olive garden. Stay here. Kelly has more with Stanley after this.
All right, we are back with Stanley Tucci, everybody. His new book is called What I Ate in 1 Year. It's out now. So what inspired this new book, other than the food that you ate in 1 year?
Well, yeah. I had written a book, came out a couple of years ago, called Taste.
Yeah.
And it was a memoir of sorts with some recipes. And the publisher said, would you write another book? And I said, well, honestly, I don't know what to write about. And my wife said, why don't you just, she's a literary agent. She said, why don't you just write about what you eat in 1 year? And I thought, well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I did. And what came out of it was a lot more than I anticipated, meaning that as soon as you start to write about the mundane, about the really sort of everyday things in life, suddenly you start making connections to the past, to the future, to your life as it is, to aging, to your children, to loss, to love, and all that. And so in essence, I suppose it's about the passage of time through the prism of food.
Yeah. Oh, also a good title.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should change it.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the sequel. Yeah. So wait, in the book you write, sometimes you must be made extremely weak to find a strength you never knew you had. I feel like, unfortunately, we can all relate to that to some extent in our own lives. What's the moment you feel like that, you realize that?
Well, I had cancer 6 years ago, and luckily it had not metastasized, but the treatments I had to do were pretty significant. And it weakened me to the point where, I couldn't taste anything. I had a feeding tube and all that sort of stuff for 6 months. And it has taken years to recover from that. You never fully recover from those kind of treatments, high-dose radiation and all that.
And even the emotional,
And the emotional stuff. And it was really hard because I love to be with people. I love to cook. I love to eat. My whole life is about eating and drinking wine and spending time with people, being in a kitchen. I couldn't do it. And you feel like you're kind of gonna die, or your soul is dying. You know that you're going physically to be okay, but you feel so sick, you're not so sure that's gonna happen. And you feel like your soul is dying because you can't connect with the people that you love.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Seems not.
Yeah. It was so not fun.
Yeah. No, so did your love of food, it had to have started when you were young, right? This had to have been like a family thing, right?
Yeah, because I was brought up in like incredible food.
It feels innate in you. Yes.
Oh yeah, my parents are amazing cooks. My mother's like a genius. Her mother was a great cook. My father's mother, I didn't really know. She died rather young, but his father was a good cook. So food was just, it was everywhere. It was the only thing anybody talked about, the only thing that anybody, you talked about food when you were eating it, right?
Yeah.
As you were eating what you were talking about what you were eating, you would talk about what you were going to eat next.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the conversation at the dinner table.
These are my people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was like, it was great. So I just grew up with it. And, the kids are young and we can't really eat with them all the time. We'll cook for them and they'll sit at the counter and we'll talk to them over the counter and then maybe we'll put them in bed and then we'll eat.
Yeah.
We're not doing that anymore because we want to sit down with them. And to sit down with them just is so much nicer. Conversation, it engenders conversation. And my son, who's 9, said, oh, I like it so much better when we eat together. Just completely unsolicited.
Yeah.
So that was...
My daughter's that way. My son is like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
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 He's like so thrown by it.
Doesn't like it.
Because it's unfortunate, because it's new for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try. I'm aiming to be more like you and your family. So we talked cooking. Does your cookware have special meaning for you? I know a lot of people that love cooking and they are very hardcore about it. They're like, what are you using? And I'm like, I don't know. What I picked up at the store, I have no idea.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, it does have significance for me. This Green Pan had come to me and said, would you be interested in designing something with us? And I was like, oh my God, that's like a dream I had. You know, I love design. I love, you know, design, architecture, and interior design, all that sort of stuff. But cookware to me is really interesting because, you know, you have to make this thing that is a viable object that functions, that really functions well, and that looks good. And growing up in the 1960s and 70s, there was, you know, the rage was all the sort of Scandi stuff, the Danish stuff. My parents had a lot of that stuff, and I always loved it. So when my mom would cook, you'd be cooking on this really cool thing, this kind of Danish whatever, and you're just like, that's beautiful. And that you could bring the same thing to the table. Yeah. And I always thought, and I always loved, like with pots and pans, I was very specific with how it looked on the outside. So if you wanted to bring it to the table, you could. But if not, it still looked really nice. Yeah. And it functioned really well. And then all these different colors that we're doing, which are based on colors from like 1960s, 1970s Italian cars, like Alfa Romeos and Fiats and all that. That's like really cool colors. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that, yes. All right. Well, you are all getting a Tucci by Green Pan 4-quart saute pan made in Italy. This groundbreaking pan features thoughtful details that define families approach to cooking and life. Welcome back. Stanley Tucci is with us, everybody. His new book is called What I Ate in 1 Year, and we're about to enjoy some of those dishes that he ate in a year, because my life is awesome. This is an edible interview. Yeah. Edible interview. All right. We're limited by time here. We only have 4 minutes to eat 4 courses. This is like speed dating, but with food. So our stagehands, Sal and Jason, are going to be moving things along as we shove food in our face. And Stanley will tell us his stories behind each dish rather quickly. Yes. So I hope you're up for it. Are you game?
I can do it.
Okay, let's do it. Our first course, based on what Stanley ate in 1 year, is Tucci minestrone soup. Oh, yes. Which I love. Yes. That looks delicious.
I know, it does look good.
So I get to eat, and you get to tell me a story about it.
Okay, so this is a minestrone soup, a classic minestrone soup. You can make it with water, you can make it with vegetable stock, make it with chicken stock. And it's basically grab a bunch of vegetables that you have in your fridge, right, as they're fading, or if they're not fading, grab them anyway.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah, saute them down a little bit, throw in that chicken stock or whatever stock you want, throw in some peas at the very end, so you can put cabbage, kale, celery, carrot, onion, 2 kinds of onions, garlic, all that stuff, and just cook it for a while. Yeah. And then put a rind of Parmigiano. So you take the rind of the Parmigiano and you stick it in the soup and you let it cook with it. And what it does is it gives it this great... What was that?
I don't know.
It gives us...
Did you have too much minestrone?
Yes, right.
Excuse me.
It gives us this beautiful viscosity and great flavor.
I love cheese, so anytime that's involved. I love this one. That's good. Okay, so the next course, our primi, or insalata, is chicken salad on toast. Look at these. These are so nice. Cute. Do you just put the whole thing in?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I won't do it because I can't talk then.
Okay.
So this is basically reminiscent of the chicken salad I used to go when I lived in New York. I used to go to the diners, right? Go to the diners, coffee shops. You would go and get a chicken salad sandwich and a bowl of soup, or you get a tuna fish sandwich, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like a pastrami sandwich.
Sounds awesome now.
Yeah, and then this is just a more refined version of it.
That is a very fancy version of it. It's gonna make me look so good at parties. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I can do this.
I'm not eating it or I can't talk. Come on, what's next?
Okay, I'm eating it for us. Now, on the secondi, or pasta course, I hope I'm saying that right. This is spaghetti con tonno?
Tonno, yes. So this is a classic Italian dish. And you're just going to eat, this is tomato, like a marinara, but no garlic. A little bit of onion, actually extra onion, tomato, olive oil, and then at the very end you take tuna, like canned Italian tuna, you know, in olive oil, and you cook it for the last 10 minutes in this, and you serve it with spaghetti, and it is a classic.
That is good.
I know, and what happens is it becomes really sweet. And the weird thing is the kids love this.
Yeah.
They love it because it has a sweetness to it.
Yeah. My daughter would eat this. My son only eats buttered pasta.
Oh, well, that's mine.
Oh,
my daughter.
Yeah?
My son will eat this. My daughter will only eat pasta. But she'll eat raw tomatoes. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
They're
okay.
Crazy. They're
this
crazy
is delicious.
people.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a short order cook, so you're gonna eat it or starve.
Yeah. I'm gonna eat.
Just
this
kidding.
one.
I feed my children. Yeah, because it's real good. It's real good. Okay, and now enjoy the bite. Now on to the. Okay, this is actually my favorite. So we finished up with espresso. I usually finish with a cappuccino, a decaf, but
which is an outrage.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not Italian.
No, I know.
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes, I know.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I finish with it because it feels nice and it's good for your digestion.
Yeah, it is. It's good for your digestion.
Okay, this is hardcore.
It is.
This is very Italiano.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
Do you finish every meal like this?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it just seems a little harsh. You know what I'm saying?
Is it too much?
It feels like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need it to be cut.
It punched me in the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I just need like a little latte in there, just a little something, just a little.
All right.
A little love.
We'll allow that.
I'm not Italian.
No.
It's
no,
allowed.
I know.
Thank you to our servers, Sal and Jason. Give it up for them, y'all. Nope, still don't like it. Stanley's new book is called What I Ate in 1 Year, and it's out now. And everyone here is going home with a copy. You can also see Stanley in Conclave. It's in theaters starting October 25th.